is James Dillon with As You Wish Talk Radio. I've got a great guest. I've got Laura Magdalene Eisenhower on the show, and she's a brilliant soul-reaching teacher and healer recognized throughout by clients, psychics, and secret societies as a living global oracle and true archetype of Sophia Magdalene on Earth. Love those energies. She's also a great granddaughter of President Eisenhower, and since young she has felt profoundly strong calling to serve humanity and assist us in breaking free of the false matrix and misuses of power that threaten our freedom. I can go on and on with this introduction, but I just want to get Laura on the show because we have so much to talk about. So, Laura, are you with us?
Oh, good. I'm glad you cut all that.
Yeah, I hate those long introductions myself.
Here.
Yeah, there's the first thing that comes to mind, and I know everybody wanted me to ask this question about, being the great-granddaughter of President Eisenhower. Were you aware of his contact with the ETs and his experiences in the past?
No, I mean, I didn't grow up with that information from family. It was never anything that was discussed. But my curiosity grew, particularly because I felt just such a strong calling as a child. And I tuned into his spirit, and I kept feeling like I was just somehow communicating with him, and was always wondering, what this character was about, because I was young. I didn't really know the impact he had on the world or what his role was at that age. And there was just a lot of interesting information coming to me that related to ETs and just things about the future. And as I grew up and heard rumors, and really got into exopolitics and just this whole field, everything just kind of lined up. So I can't say I have any proof from family, but from my own experience and the sort of strange things that have happened to me, particularly with the Mars recruitment, I would say that I'm pretty darn sure that a lot of those rumors are true. I don't know about the content and the exactness, but I do believe there is something there for sure.
Yeah, it does seem to be a family thing. I've noticed when people are involved, when our ancestors are involved with these things, it just keeps passing on down the line.
Right, and I felt like, whoa, something heavy duty is calling my attention, and it definitely felt like it was passed on. Very overwhelming because it's just there's just a lot there, obviously.
Mm-hmm. His energy towards this military matrix, or this situation we have going right now with the military industry, and he gave us a very stern warning saying, do not let these guys take over and start running your country. And that seemed to be just one portion that he was warning about, because now it's pretty clear that we have been taken over by the oil industry, the military industry, the pharmaceutical industry, basically, those industries are running the show right now.
I know, and it's sad because all the presidents, anybody who spoke truth, well, Kennedy, got assassinated, and most presidents are very controlled, and it's really up to the people to put an end to this, and no leader is really capable unless we put, new leaders in and just create something from the roots up, from ourselves.
Yeah, do you think this present leadership is fixable? My feeling is it's just, I think we need to start over. I don't think it's repairable.
Yeah, we can't really fight what's already going on. It really is draining, and I think a lot of us have attempted, and I'm not saying, it's time to give up, but I think if we can just pull our energies away and our expectation and really understand how screwed up the whole thing is and just start on our own and just be empowered in that, it'll kind of crumble. But of course they're going to enforce laws and try and stop us, but I think we're all pretty unbreakable at this point.
Yeah, it does seem to be pushed over the edge right now, and I've been getting some pretty clear messages that the tyranny energies and those who are just operating from reckless greed and no respect for humanity and the earth and just pure greed are actually imploding and ending up in wheelchairs because their hearts aren't open and things of that nature. So it seems to be on this downward fall right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't. It's not sustainable. It doesn't have. It expires. It's not running on pure divine energy, and anything that isn't doesn't really have a true life force. It's running on something that can only last for so long. it's exhausting itself for sure. Yeah, I feel that too.
Are you aware of the Lakota prophecies?
The what?
The Lakota prophecies?
A little bit.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like what you're talking about, because they talk about a beast and it's 2,000 miles wide, and they said that this beast is just all-consuming. It just wants to consume and dominate and control everything. And then just when you think all hope is lost, the beast consumes itself and folds in on itself. And then they say that then we have the Star Nations return and the 1,000 years of peace, and the earth rebuilds itself very quickly.
Yeah, and that's so wonderful, because there's a lot of similar prophecies that are worded a little bit differently, and it's so true. And we're really on the cusp of that. It's very exciting. But of course, everything's accelerating. There's going to be more false flags and a lot of front people that seem to be truth tellers that we need to be very careful of, that I'm starting to notice are appearing. And some of the people they're affiliated with are very dangerous, who are behind artificial telepathy and mind control technologies. And I don't want to name any names, but it's very important to, be careful who one's listening to. So, because they want to completely, with the remote viewing, they're able to kind of see what's going on, and they want to kind of stay one step ahead of it, but they can't, because they're not as intelligent as source energy. And when we're all aligned to that, the only power they have is deception, I guess is what I mean. And it's no real power. It's just about trickery. And as long as we can't be fooled, we're fine.
I've seen them now. A lot of remote viewers and remote. I can't think of the other word for it, where they can actually influence. I guess remote influencers. And those, I've had my experiences with them as well. But I know a lot of them can't get past the psychic barrier. They're stuck in probably the fourth dimension, or they can't even get into the higher dimensions. All of these beings that I've experienced, I've talked to some of these guys about it, and they didn't know what I was talking about. But every once in a while, I would run into an enlightened one that was doing good things with their abilities, and they did experience these higher beings.
Right. Yeah, it depends who's behind the tools. It's not so much the tools, and even the looking glass technologies can't read past 2012. The frequencies will be such that it's not anything that they can detect. And in their fear of this shift, they're doing everything they can to put fear in humanity and just get in the way of the creative process through pulling people out of their center and their creative power, and to distort the imagination and the belief systems, because they are panicking as they're just not able to detect what's going to happen. And all these projections are very false when they're negative, because we're not headed for anything negative. There's going to be upheavals and difficulty, but that's the global detox, and it's also their attempt to throw us off. But it's all very temporary. They can only delay the inevitable. You can't stop the inevitable.
Yeah, it's like this massive snowball of awakening and healing that's coming, and these guys are doing everything they can to stop it, and it's just going to run right over them. And they have a choice. They can either end the resistance to this and become part of the process and join in the awakening and healing process and put their energies and resources towards that, or they're just going to get completely run over by this universal snowball that's coming.
Oh, I know. And that's why, it's really important that we just, have forgiveness and, just hope that they can shift, because, everybody, a lot of things are inherited in ancestral patterns and programs, and there's a lot of people that are being, highly manipulated, that are on the so-called dark side, that we hope, snap out of it. And, of course, when I say dark side, I don't mean like the real meaning of dark, like the fertile womb or creativity and, the dark when it's used correctly. But, yes, we can only hope that they will shift and transform, and that we accept that and we forgive them and welcome them.
I've always said we need, like Mandela did, I think he had that, I can't remember the panel he had, but it was like Truth and Reconciliation panel or something, or Forgiveness and panel. And, I think that's basically the only way out, is that a lot of people are in so deep and they're so afraid of repercussions that they're continuing to go forward. And, they're so afraid of being found out for what they have done in the past. And if we had some kind of a situation like that, said, okay, if you are going to make restitution, if you're going to start working on the positive side here and make this shift, then there'll be no, whatever consequences between you and God, we're not going to, or whatever your name for God is, we're not going to step in. And maybe have some kind of a system like that allows all these whistleblowers to come forward, all these other people to rise up and shift this planet. That might be a good way of doing it.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, and it's so true how much they do resist that, because the ramifications could be huge. And if, as long as justice happens and the wrongs are made right, then, then there doesn't have to be repercussions, except for just being accountable and assisting in restoring the damage that's been done. And I think that there's plenty of work there to have them sort of pay their dues without it being about punishment and judgment. Because this is so old. I mean, this is just woven into the fabric of even many people's DNA. So.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it does go back pretty far. I've watched the whole, even before the Constitution and everything else, and corporate America and how that was formed, and how the real America was just set aside. All these things, people don't even know. It's been going on for so long, they don't even know who they're working for, and have no idea. What they're doing for God and country has nothing to do with God and country. It has everything to do with these major corporations, and that all seems to be hitting the surface right now and showing up everywhere.
It's so shocking. I mean, it really rattles people, because so many well-intentioned people, find out all of a sudden that all their hard work and all their devotion and the religion that they believed in and everything, I mean, it's very difficult. And so it's very important that they know that there's something to fall back on, and there's, just a lot of loving people that, can just be those values that they had, but in a much more organic, real, and nurturing way that they won't feel lost. They'll have, something supportive to kind of catch them as they remove themselves.
Oh yeah, I know. We have a shared interest in one thing, and that is Mary Magdalene and her work, and we connect with her quite a bit here at the ranch. She pops in now and then, and Mother Mary actually pops in as well. And they're universal beings, they're not owned by any one person.
No.
But in experiencing her energy, especially Mary Magdalene, her energy is so intense and loving and healing. It's so sad what they've done to her in the past, trying to turn her into a whore and all these other things, when she was actually part of the royal family and went through the Egyptian mystery schools and was extremely adept at spiritual matters. And there was just a lot of jealousy by the disciples, because Jesus spent so much time with her and experienced her. And now I know why he did. So, it's sad that that's one of the things, that they've done from, they said that woman was created from the side of, or from the rib of man, which actually was created at the side of man when you get into the original text. But there's just been a long history of separation and division and demeaning, of the divine feminine.
Right. I mean, Eden was just one part of it. I mean, really, Lilith came there first, and the two sisters from Sophia are Lilith and Diana. And in Sumerian times, it was well